In the spring of 2014, Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy claimed he was under attack by federal agents who wanted to seize his cattle and take his land.
Do you remember the 2014 Bundy standoff? Because this is back in 2014 when I was not covering the news. There are bits and pieces of this that I do remember. It was essentially the combination of a 21-year standoff between the Bundys and the federal government over grazing fees on federally owned lands. The Bundys didn't want to pay the fees. Anyways, I don't want to go down that hole. But one of those family members, Ammon Bundy, who of course is a conservative, put out this video. It appears to be on Facebook Live. This was shared here by the Epic Department on Twitter. Check out what he says here. And I will try to give you the full image so maybe you can read the comments because his conservative audience doesn't appear to be too happy. But check out what he says. And I'm going to tell you why this is not only rare, but for him, in his ideology, the correct position.
I simply was going to go to a rally with the Black Lives Matter in support of defunding the police because, yes, the police need to be defunded. And anybody who don't understand that is just somehow must be, I mean, I'm trying not to be, too poignant here, but must have a problem. You must have a problem in your mind if you think that somehow the Black Lives Matter is more dangerous than the police. You must have a problem in your mind. If you think that Antifa is the one going to take your freedom, you must have a problem in your mind. You must be thinking, you must be hypnotized by these social media code words or by, conservative talk show hosts that basically put these keywords in your mind to make it so that you think certain things about certain terms, such as defund the police. No, defund the police is the correct thing to do. They become a huge authoritarian bureaucracy that will be the bureaucracy or the people that take away our liberty. They will be the ones to do that. And the only thing that's going to stop them is people uniting to stop them. That's it. I'm sorry. That's what's going to have to happen. But you patriots, if you really want to call yourself that, somehow think that the law enforcement is your golden calf. And you do the same thing with many other things, such as the military, even when they're doing terrible things across the world. I'm not saying that everything they're doing and every person in it, don't get me wrong, are doing that. But there needs to be a defunding of government in general, and especially the police forces, because they're the ones that are actually going to seek and destroy us. And there are many people in the Black Lives Matter organization, along with patriots and, libertarians and Republicans.
All right. How about that? Here we have a conservative and a cowboy coming out for defunding the police and for Black Lives Matter. Now, the funny part about this is that this shouldn't be shocking. It's only shocking because conservatives are rarely ever ideologically consistent. But this is shocking because here is a small government conservative actually for small government, actually anti-tyranny, understands the kind of power that police departments have over the lives of your average American. So the only reason this is rare to see is because people, the so-called intellectuals on the right, like Ben Shapiro or I don't know who's even left, Dave Rubin, they are never ideologically consistent when it comes to what their ideology, what they claim to stand for. They claim to stand for small government, but they're all for tyranny. They're all for the police locking up peaceful protesters. I mean, you see what's happening in Portland, just grabbing people off the street, putting them into unmarked vans and driving off. They don't have anything to say about that. But here's an ideological consistent conservative speaking out against that and fighting with Black Lives Matter. Now, I'm not sure if he realizes it, but he may, in fact, be a libertarian socialist. And maybe he should look a little more into it. But look, this is good to see. It's good to see people that are thinking for themselves on the right. It's rare, but it happens. This is somebody thinking for himself who's on the right. Now, look, this same guy, he likely would be against Medicare for all. When it comes to left-wing positions, and at least the way I view this, the left isn't necessarily for or against big government, small government. There is no real position there. It all depends on where the support, where the money, where the taxes are going. So are you helping individuals? Are you guaranteeing people health care? Then I think that's a great way to invest into society. Because you see now, when you have this for-profit, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into healthcare, but you see when you just allow the free market, or the so-called free market, it's not even a free market, but the so-called free market to take care of healthcare, it doesn't prioritize the health of individuals. It prioritizes the profits of executives and insurance companies. So it all depends where you put the money. I'm not for small government or for big government. I'm just for common sense. I'm for being rational. So being rational is putting money into healthcare. Being rational is understanding that the police departments have way too much power. There shouldn't be this one-size-fits-all department that deals with everything from homelessness to addiction to domestic disputes. I mean, you got to, at the very least, again, defund the police to me does not mean completely abolish. Does not mean abolish in the sense that, you call 911 and no one shows up. That's what the right is trying to act like defund the police means. That's not what it means. Defund the police is really the start of a discussion. And it means defund the police. The real debate is just how much defunding. Defund all the way and just think of a new way to police society completely, which is a goal that I think is worth at least discussing. Or, for now, I think the discussion really is defund in the sense that take some of these responsibilities away from the cops and put it into other areas. So like calls for mental health or addiction should go into public health and have public health care professionals deal with those calls. So there are different ways to deal with many of the responsibilities that the police currently have. There are better ways to deal with them in a way that doesn't have individuals show up armed. And again, you are putting, in giving the cops so many responsibilities, you are essentially ensuring that they're not going to be good at their job. It's just, I mean, you can really frame defund the police in a way that actually helps the cops. Talk about how, look, if you have 10 different responsibilities that each have their own procedures, you're not going to be as good at 10 different responsibilities as you would if you just had 5. So take away half those responsibilities, put that money, those resources elsewhere, and allow the police to just do what is essentially what they need to do, like respond to bank robberies or violent crime. But don't inject violence using the police into non-violent situations, which oftentimes is what the police do. But anyways, back to this guy. Clearly, I think he's maybe he's going to wake up a little bit. Maybe he's going to realize he's on the wrong team, and begin to dig a little deeper into his own thoughts and feelings about where he feels the government is best used. And you know what? I look forward to seeing how his thought process evolves.